The desert planet of Iridian stretched endlessly under a pale orange sun. The sand rippled like golden waves, and the wind whispered secrets that only the bravest explorers could hear. Myra tightened the straps of her backpack as she climbed a small dune. She stopped and looked around. The landscape was empty, yet she felt excitement bubbling in her chest. Every expedition she took had its challenges, but this one felt different. Something ancient waited here. Beside her, Tomasz wiped sweat from his forehead. "Are you sure this is the right place?" he asked. His voice carried both worry and curiosity. The maps only showed rough coordinates. There could be nothing here. Myra smiled. "That's the point. Real discoveries aren't on maps. We have to find them ourselves." They continued walking, their boots sinking into the warm sand. Suddenly, Myra froze. Ahead, half buried in the dunes, a massive shape caught her eye. The sand shimmered, but beneath it, she could see sharp lines and glowing edges. She stepped closer, heart pounding. "It's a pyramid," she whispered. Tomasz blinked. "A pyramid? On Iridian? That's impossible. Humans haven't built anything like that here." The pyramid's surface was unlike anything they had seen. Smooth stones fit together perfectly, yet strange symbols glowed faintly along its edges. The sand around it seemed to shimmer in the light, as if the ground itself was alive. Myra crouched and ran her fingers over the symbols. They hummed under her touch, sending a tiny shiver up her arm. From the corner of her eye, she noticed shapes moving in the sand. Large humanoid figures lay half buried around the pyramid. They were enormous, at least 10 times the size of a human. Their arms and legs were folded carefully, almost as if they were sleeping. Their faces were calm, peaceful, yet their size made them feel powerful. Tomasz swallowed hard. "Are those giants?" he asked. Myra nodded. "It looks like it. But they are different. They don't seem alive, not yet. They might have been guardians." She stood and took a step closer to the pyramid. "We have to study this carefully. This could change everything we know about this planet and maybe about human history in space." Tomasz looked uneasy. "Or it could be dangerous. We don't know why these giants are here, or why the pyramid glows like that. What if touching it wakes something we can't control?" Myra looked at him, her eyes bright with determination. "That's why we're here, Tomasz. To discover, to learn. We can't let fear stop us." They circled the pyramid, studying its base. The stones were smooth and warm under the sun. The symbols pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Myra noticed small indentations near the entrance like steps, but they were large, far too big for a human. She realized the giants must have been active builders. Suddenly, the ground trembled lightly beneath their feet. Tomasz stumbled and grabbed Myra's arm. "Did you feel that?" he asked, eyes wide. Myra nodded, her heartbeat quickening. "Yes. It's like the pyramid is alive." She approached the entrance, a massive doorway with glowing patterns framing it. A warm breeze drifted from inside, carrying a faint metallic scent. The interior was dark, but hints of light flickered from deep within. Myra reached out her hand, hesitated, and then pressed it against the smooth wall. The symbols flared brightly. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through their bones. Tomasz took a step back. "Myra, I think we should wait. Maybe we should report this." Before he could finish, a giant moved. Its arm lifted slowly, brushing away the sand. Its eyes opened, faint blue light glowing within them. Myra gasped. The giant's gaze was calm but intense, like it was studying them as carefully as they studied it. Tomasz whispered, "It's awake." The giant did not attack. It stood slowly, towering over the pyramid. Its movements were careful, deliberate, as if it had been waiting for this moment. Myra felt awe and fear in equal measure. The legends of the ancient guardians were true, and now she could see them with her own eyes. The hum from the pyramid grew louder. The cymbals pulsed faster, and the other giants began to stir. Myra knew they had found something much bigger than a simple ruin. The pyramid and its guardians held secrets, and they were only just beginning to understand them. She turned to Tomasz, eyes shining. "This is our chance, Tomasz. This is what we came for. We have to explore, carefully, and see what the giants want us to learn." Tomasz nodded slowly, fear still in his eyes, but a spark of excitement as well. Together, they stepped closer to the pyramid, ready to face whatever mysteries the sleeping giants were about to reveal. The desert planet of Iridian stretched endlessly under a pale orange sun. Sand dunes rolled like golden waves across the horizon, and the wind whispered secrets through the dry air. Myra tightened the straps of her backpack and climbed a small dune. She stopped for a moment, scanning the endless expanse. Every expedition she had taken felt challenging, but this one felt different. Something ancient waited here, hidden beneath the sands. Beside her, Tomasz wiped sweat from his forehead. "Are you sure this is the right place?" he asked. His voice carried worry, but also curiosity. "The maps only show rough coordinates. There might be nothing here." Myra smiled. "That is exactly why we are here. Real discoveries are never on the maps. We have to find them ourselves." They walked carefully, their boots sinking into the warm sand. The silence was broken only by the wind and the occasional crunch of sand under their feet. Then, in the distance, a faint shape emerged from the dunes. Myra froze. "There," she whispered, pointing. Tomasz squinted. "Is that a building?" As they approached, it became clear. A massive pyramid rose from the sand. Its surface shimmered faintly, reflecting the sunlight in strange colors. Smooth stones fit together perfectly, and glowing symbols lined its edges. Myra's heart raced. She had seen many ruins before, but this was unlike anything on record. Around the pyramid, enormous humanoid figures lay half buried in the sand. Their size was staggering. Each was at least 10 times taller than a human. They were still, peaceful, as if sleeping, yet their presence radiated strength. "Giants," Tomasz breathed, disbelief in his voice. Myra knelt beside one of the figures. Her fingers traced the smooth, cold surface of its skin. "They are not just statues," she said. "I think they were alive once, maybe guardians of this place." Tomasz looked uneasy. "Or they could be dangerous. We don't know why they are here or why they were left behind. What if waking them is a mistake?" Myra stood, brushing sand from her clothes. "We cannot let fear stop us. This is what we came to find. We have to study them, carefully." The pyramid's entrance was enormous, framed by glowing symbols that pulsed faintly. Large steps led inside, clearly made for the giants. Myra felt a strange energy radiating from the doorway. She reached out, touching the smooth stone, and a soft hum filled the air. The ground beneath them vibrated gently, like a heartbeat. Tomasz took a step back. "Myra, maybe we should wait. We do not know what will happen if a sudden movement stopped him." One of the giants shifted slightly, brushing away sand with its enormous hand. Its eyes opened slowly, glowing a soft blue. Myra froze, awed, and terrified at the same time. The giant's gaze was calm, yet powerful, studying them carefully. "It is alive," Tomasz whispered. The hum from the pyramid grew louder. Light spread across the surface, forming intricate patterns that danced across the stones. The other giants began to stir as well, moving with slow, deliberate grace. They did not show hostility, only a watchful presence. Myra realized that they were waiting for something, or perhaps for someone worthy of their attention. She took a deep breath and spoke softly. "We are not here to harm. We came to learn. Please, show us your purpose." Tomasz looked at her, eyes wide, but nodded. He stayed close, ready to act if necessary. The air was thick with anticipation. Myra felt a connection to the giants, a sense that they were part of something much larger than herself. The pyramid continued to glow, its hum filling the desert. Myra and Tomasz exchanged a glance. They had uncovered the greatest mystery of Iridian, but they were only at the beginning. The sleeping giants were awakening, and the secrets of the pyramid would soon reveal themselves. Myra adjusted her backpack and took a cautious step forward. "We need to explore carefully. One step at a time. This is the moment we have been waiting for." Tomasz nodded, swallowing his fear. Together, they moved closer to the pyramid, ready to face the unknown. The desert sun beat down on them, but inside, the glow of the pyramid promised discoveries that would change everything they thought they knew about Iridian, the giants, and perhaps even humanity itself. The adventure had begun. The interior of the pyramid was vast and silent. Myra and Tomasz moved carefully across the smooth floor, their footsteps echoing softly. The walls were lined with glowing symbols, shifting patterns of light that seemed to tell a story older than any human civilization. The giants had led them here, their massive forms standing like silent guardians near the entrance. Myra paused in front of a large panel embedded in the wall. It shimmered with a soft blue light, forming lines and shapes that danced across its surface. She reached out, brushing her fingers against it, and a projection unfolded in the air above her hand. Holographic images appeared, showing landscapes filled with massive cities, machines, and people working in harmony with the giants. Tomasz watched closely. "What is all this?" he asked, awe in his voice. Myra's eyes widened. "It looks like a record of their civilization. Look at how advanced they were. They didn't just build pyramids, they created technology far beyond anything we have." The images shifted, forming lines of glowing symbols in the air. Myra studied them carefully. "I think this is a message. They wanted to communicate with anyone who found this place." The hologram changed again. A new scene appeared, showing the giants standing among humans of a smaller size. The humans were learning, building, and creating alongside the giants. Then the scene darkened, and red symbols flashed across the projection. Myra's stomach tightened. Tomasz leaned closer. "What do the red symbols mean?" Myra shook her head. "A warning. I think the giants wanted to show that their technology is powerful but dangerous if misused." She looked around at the sleeping giants. They were calm, but their presence was immense. These beings weren't just protectors of a pyramid. They were guardians of knowledge. They wanted to guide civilizations, but they also wanted to prevent destruction. Tomasz nodded slowly. "So, we have to be careful. This is more than treasure. It is responsibility." Myra turned back to the hologram. More images appeared, showing humans learning, experimenting, and growing under the giant's guidance. The projection highlighted machines that seemed to manipulate energy, heal the sick, and even move massive objects with ease. Myra felt a thrill. This knowledge could change everything for humanity, but it could also be catastrophic if used wrongly. She reached out and touched a glowing console beside the projection. Lines of light spread across the floor, forming patterns that Myra instinctively followed. Each movement of her hand caused the hologram to respond. It was as if the pyramid itself was alive, testing her curiosity and understanding. Tomasz watched nervously. "Myra, are you sure this is safe?" Myra smiled faintly. "I think this is exactly what they wanted. To see if we are ready to learn, if we can handle their knowledge responsibly." A new section of the pyramid lit up, revealing a chamber filled with enormous machines, their surfaces smooth and shining with strange energy. Myra gasped. These machines, they could do anything. Heal, build, protect, or destroy. The giants shifted slightly, their movements slow but deliberate. Myra felt that they were watching, observing how she and Tomasz reacted. She realized that the giants had not only left a message, they had created a test, a way to see if humans could be trusted. Tomasz swallowed hard. So this is the trial. We have to show that we can understand, respect, and use this knowledge wisely. Myra nodded. She felt a deep sense of purpose. The pyramid was more than a relic, it was a bridge between the past and the future. Humanity had been given a chance to grow, but it was also a reminder of the responsibility that came with power. The holographic message shifted again, showing a final scene. A human reached out to a giant, and together they activated a device that lit up the entire city with energy and life. Myra felt a connection to that image. It was a vision of what could happen if they followed the giant's guidance. She turned to Tomasz. "We have to try. We must understand everything here and learn from it. This is the moment humanity can change its path, for the better." Tomasz nodded, though his eyes were wide with awe and fear. "I will follow you. But we need to be careful. One wrong move could be disastrous." Myra looked around the chamber, the hum of energy filling the air. The sleeping giants had given them a gift, and with it, a responsibility. She felt a mixture of excitement and reverence. The pyramid had spoken. It was now up to them to listen, understand, and prove that humanity could be worthy of the ancient knowledge. With determination, Myra took the first step toward the glowing machines, and Tomasz followed closely. The trial had begun, and the secrets of the pyramid waited to reveal themselves. The chamber inside the pyramid was immense. Lights flowed across the walls in soft waves, illuminating machines of unknown purpose. Myra's eyes widened as she studied the room. The symbols pulsed in rhythm with the low hum that filled the air. Every step she took made the floor vibrate lightly, as if the pyramid itself recognized her presence. Tomasz stayed close, his hands tight on his backpack straps. "I still cannot believe this place is real," he said quietly. "It feels alive." Myra nodded, her attention fixed on a large console at the center of the room. Strange patterns of light swirled above it, forming shapes and lines that moved as if they were breathing. "I think this is our first trial," she said. "The giants want to see if we are capable of understanding and using their knowledge." A sudden sound echoed in the chamber. A wall shifted, revealing a smaller room filled with glowing panels. Symbols hovered in the air, forming puzzles that seemed to demand answers. Myra approached one of the panels and studied it closely. It displayed a sequence of lights, each flashing in a particular rhythm. "I think it wants us to repeat the pattern," she said. She reached out and touched the first light. A soft chime responded. She tapped the next light, then the next, following the rhythm. Tomasz watched and mirrored her movements, their coordination becoming precise with each step. Suddenly, the lights changed, creating a new, more complex pattern. Myra frowned. This is harder. It is testing our focus and memory. Tomasz stepped closer. We can do this together. We need to stay calm and pay attention to every detail. They repeated the sequence, sometimes hesitating, sometimes rushing. Each time they made a mistake, the lights dimmed and the pattern restarted. Myra took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment to focus. She felt the rhythm of the pyramid, the way the lights pulsed like a heartbeat. This is more than a memory test, she whispered. It is showing us that we must work together, think carefully, and stay patient. Tomasz nodded, a small smile forming on his lips. Then we will do it together. Hours seemed to pass as they continued the trial. The patterns grew longer, the symbols more intricate. Yet, with each attempt, Myra and Tomasz improved. They learned to anticipate the rhythm, to support each other's mistakes, and to move in perfect harmony. The room seemed to respond, the lights becoming warmer, brighter, as if the pyramid recognized their effort. Finally, the last pattern glowed steadily without changing. The panels above them emitted a soft hum, and a hidden door slid open at the far end of the chamber. Myra and Tomasz exchanged a glance, relief and excitement mixing in their expressions. We did it, Myra said softly. We passed the first trial. The new room beyond the door was smaller but filled with even more advanced machines. Some floated slightly above the ground, spinning slowly. Others emitted beams of light that intersected and formed geometric shapes in the air. Myra stepped forward, feeling a thrill of curiosity. This is incredible, she breathed. The giants wanted to test more than memory. They wanted to see if we could think, adapt, and cooperate. They wanted to see if we are ready to learn. Tomasz studied the machines carefully. It is amazing, but we need to remember the warning we saw in the hologram. This knowledge is powerful. We have to be responsible. Myra nodded. I know. That is why the trial matters. It is teaching us not just to use what we find, but to understand it first. A new symbol appeared on one of the floating machines. It resembled a map of interconnected lines and nodes. Myra approached it and touched a point, causing the machine to project a holographic puzzle into the air. Shapes rotated, merged, and split apart, forming a complex pattern. This is another test, Myra said. But it is different. It is showing us how to solve problems, how to think logically and creatively. Tomasz leaned closer, studying the shapes. Then we need to plan carefully. One wrong move could ruin the puzzle. They worked together, analyzing each shape, moving pieces in the air with their hands, and observing how the puzzle responded. Slowly, the pattern began to form correctly. A soft glow spread through the room, and the hologram stabilized into a perfect structure. The machines hummed with energy, as if approving their solution. Myra smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The giants are teaching us. They are showing that knowledge is not just power. It is understanding, cooperation, and careful thinking. Tomasz nodded, pride in his voice. And we are ready to learn, step by step. We can do this, Myra. The giants remained near the entrance, their enormous forms calm and still, watching without moving. Myra felt a deep respect for them. The trial had not only tested their minds, but also their hearts. It had shown that courage, patience, and teamwork were just as important as intelligence. With the first trial behind them, Myra and Tomasz prepared for whatever the pyramid would show next. They knew that the secrets of the giants were far from fully revealed, and that each step forward would bring new challenges. Yet, they felt ready. Together, they had begun a journey that would change their understanding of the world, and of humanity itself. Myra and Tomasz had been exploring the inner chambers of the pyramid for several hours. The first trial had tested their minds, showing them that cooperation and careful thought were as important as intelligence. The machines hummed with energy, and the symbols glowed softly. Yet, a shadow of unease had begun to settle in the back of their minds. Tomasz paused near a wall, examining a set of glowing patterns. "Myra, do you ever feel like we are not alone?" he asked quietly. "I know the giants are here, but something doesn't feel right." Myra frowned. "I thought I was imagining it, but I feel it too. The pyramid is powerful, and there might be others who want it for themselves." Before they could react, a deep vibration shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the hum of the pyramid grew louder. Myra grabbed Tomasz's arm. "Something is coming. We need to be careful." They hurried toward the entrance chamber, where the giants waited. Outside, the desert was no longer empty. In the distance, a fleet of alien ships appeared on the horizon. They moved quickly, descending toward the pyramid with precision. Myra's heart pounded. She had seen alien ships before, but these were different. Sleek, armed, and designed for war. "They are here for the pyramid," she whispered. Tomasz's eyes widened. "Then we need to hide it, or stop them." "But how?" Myra turned to the giants. Their enormous forms now stood fully upright, moving with slow and deliberate steps. Their eyes glowed softly, and they radiated strength. The humans realized that the giants were ready to defend the place they had protected for centuries. One of the giants extended a massive hand toward the approaching ships. A wave of energy shot from the pyramid, creating a barrier of shimmering light in the air. The alien ships slowed, their weapons unable to penetrate the protective field. Myra and Tomasz watched in awe. The giants were more powerful than they had imagined. Tomasz whispered, "We should help them. Maybe we can guide the ships away or confuse them." Myra nodded. "Yes, we need to be smart. The pyramid gave us knowledge, but now we need to act with courage too." Using a small console, Myra activated a device that projected holographic images of the desert terrain. She manipulated the patterns, creating false paths and obstacles. The aliens were momentarily distracted, following the illusions of dunes and pits. Tomasz joined her, moving quickly to adjust the projections and guide the giant's energy toward weak points in the barrier. The aliens realized the trick and fired more weapons, but the giants raised their hands, and beams of energy blocked every attack. Their calm strength was intimidating. Myra felt both fear and admiration. The giants were not just protectors, they were guardians of life, and they could not be defeated easily. Suddenly, one of the alien ships broke formation and tried to sneak around the barrier. Myra noticed it and pointed. "Tomasz, the left flank. We have to block it before it reaches the pyramid." Tomasz acted quickly, adjusting the holographic terrain. The ship collided with a projected obstacle and was forced back into formation. Myra exhaled, her heart racing. They were learning to work together with the giants, using both their minds and the pyramid's technology. The aliens regrouped, but the giants did not falter. They advanced slowly, their energy waves creating shock lines across the desert. Myra and Tomasz guided the beams, making the defense stronger, and the alien ships were forced to retreat. One by one, they turned and fled back into the sky, leaving the pyramid and its guardians unharmed. When the desert grew quiet again, Myra and Tomasz looked around, their breaths heavy. The giants lowered their hands, their eyes glowing softly in approval. Myra realized that the trial they faced was not just about intelligence, it was about courage, teamwork, and trust. Tomasz leaned against a giant's leg, relief washing over him. "I never thought we could do it. We actually helped them protect the pyramid." Myra nodded, feeling a mix of pride and determination. "The pyramid gave us knowledge, but it also gave us a responsibility. We have to use it wisely. Others will come for it, and we must be ready." The giants stood silently, their massive forms watching over the desert. Myra felt a deep respect for them. They had awakened to defend the place they had waited centuries to protect. Humanity had shown courage, but it was only the beginning. Myra turned to Tomasz. "We need to continue learning. The pyramid holds more secrets, and we must understand them before anyone else tries to take them." Tomasz nodded, still catching his breath. "Then we continue. Together, with the giants." As the sun began to set over the desert, the pyramid glowed softly in the fading light. Myra knew that this moment marked a turning point. The giants had trusted them, and humanity had proven it could be brave and responsible. But the galaxy was vast, and there would always be challenges ahead. The adventure was far from over, and the secrets of the pyramid awaited those who were ready to learn and protect them. Myra and Tomasz took one last look at the desert, then turned back toward the glowing interior of the pyramid. The giants followed, silent but ever watchful, and together they prepared for the trials yet to come. The desert air was still after the retreat of the alien fleet, but Myra and Tomasz did not relax. The encounter had shown them the power of the pyramid and the giants, but it also proved that others would return. They knew they had to prepare. The giants stood silently near the entrance, their massive bodies radiating calm strength. Myra approached one of them. "We need your guidance," she said. "If anyone else comes, we must protect this place." The giant tilted its head and gestured toward the interior of the pyramid. Symbols glowed on the walls, forming lines that led to hidden chambers filled with strange machines. Myra realized that the giants had ways to prepare defenses, tools left behind to help protect the pyramid from future threats. Tomasz stepped closer. "Do you think we can control them? These machines?" Myra nodded slowly. "Yes, but carefully. The giants have trusted us once, and we have to use their guidance wisely." They entered the first chamber. The machines reacted to their presence, lights pulsing as if recognizing them. Myra reached out and activated a console. A holographic map of Iridian appeared, showing the pyramid and the surrounding desert. Red markers flickered on the edges of the map, possible entry points for enemies. "This is incredible," Tomasz said, awe in his voice. "We can see every route to the pyramid." Myra studied the map. "And we can control defenses at these points. The giants left everything we need to protect their home." Hours passed as they learned the controls. Some machines could create energy barriers across the desert, while others could project illusions to confuse enemies. Myra and Tomasz practiced with care, testing each system, guided by the quiet presence of the giants. Suddenly, a low hum filled the chamber. One of the giants raised its hand, and the ground beneath them shifted. A massive holographic projection appeared, showing the desert in real time. Myra gasped. Enemy ships were approaching, smaller, faster than the last fleet, but more numerous. Tomasz clenched his fists. They're coming again. We have to act. Myra nodded. We can't let fear stop us. The giants are with us, and so is the pyramid. Let's defend Iridian. They activated the first set of defenses. Energy barriers rose across the desert, shimmering in the sunlight. Holographic images created false dunes and pits, confusing the approaching enemies. The giants moved with precision, their enormous hands directing energy toward weak points and guiding the machines. Myra and Tomasz coordinated from the control chamber, watching the holographic map and adjusting defenses as needed. Every decision mattered. A wrong move could allow the enemy to reach the pyramid. The alien ships tried to break through the barriers, firing beams of energy. The giants raised their hands, and the beams were deflected effortlessly. Myra felt awe and respect. They had underestimated the giants before, but now it was clear they were not only protectors, but nearly unstoppable guardians. Tomasz pointed to a cluster of ships approaching from a blind spot. Myra, left flank. If we do not act, they will reach the pyramid. Myra acted quickly, sending a pulse of energy from one of the machines. A wall of light rose, blocking the ships. The aliens hesitated, giving the giants time to redirect more energy toward them. As the battle continued, Myra realized something important. This was not just a fight. It was a lesson. The giants had awakened to defend their home, but they had also taught humans how to work together, think strategically, and use knowledge responsibly. Hours passed, and the alien ships began to retreat, realizing they could not penetrate the defenses. The giants lowered their hands, the desert quiet once more. Myra and Tomasz exchanged a look of relief and pride. They had helped defend Iridian, not with sheer strength, but with intelligence, teamwork, and courage. Tomasz wiped sweat from his forehead. I never thought we could do it. We actually helped protect the pyramid. Myra nodded. And we learned something more. We are capable of more than we knew. The giants are teaching us how to think, how to act responsibly, and how to protect what is important. The giants stood silently, their eyes glowing softly. Myra felt a deep respect for them. They had trusted humans once, and now humans had proven they could be allies. As the sun began to set, painting the desert in shades of gold and orange, Myra turned to Tomasz. We have done well today, but this is only the beginning. There are more secrets in the pyramid, and we must continue learning from the giants. Tomasz nodded, a determined look on his face. Then we continue. Together, we will be ready for whatever comes next. The giants shifted, moving back toward the inner chambers. Myra and Tomasz followed, guided by the glowing symbols and the soft hum of the machines. They knew that the pyramid's secrets were not fully revealed, and that new challenges awaited. Yet they felt ready, strengthened by the bond between humans and giants, and by the lessons they had learned on the battlefield of Iridian. The pyramid glowed softly in the evening light, a beacon of knowledge, courage, and hope for the future. Myra and Tomasz walked forward, ready to face the next trial, and to unlock the deeper powers of the sleeping giants. The desert of Iridian was quiet after the last battle. The alien threat had vanished, leaving the pyramid and its guardians untouched. Myra and Tomasz stood at the entrance, looking at the giants. Their enormous forms were calm and steady, as if waiting for the next step in a long plan that had begun centuries ago. Myra took a deep breath. We have learned a lot, but I feel there is more. The pyramid still holds secrets we do not understand. Tomasz nodded. Yes. We have survived trials and even defended the pyramid. Now, it is time to see what the giants wanted us to learn fully. The two humans entered the main chamber. The machines responded to their presence, lights flowing like rivers of energy. Holographic symbols rose from the floors and walls, forming images of the past. Myra reached out and touched a console at the center. A projection filled the room. It showed the giants in their prime, guiding civilizations across the stars. Humans and other species learned from them, building cities and technologies in harmony with nature and energy. Then the projection shifted, showing destruction caused by those who misused the giants' knowledge. Myra understood the warning clearly. Power without wisdom could destroy entire worlds. A giant stepped forward and extended its hand. Myra felt a pulse of warmth and energy. She realized the pyramid was inviting her to access the knowledge it held, but only because she and Tomasz had proven themselves responsible. Tomasz looked at Myra. "Are we ready for this?" Myra smiled, determination in her eyes. "We have to be. The giants trusted us, and we must not fail them." She touched the giant's hand, and a flow of information filled her mind. Knowledge of energy manipulation, healing machines, construction methods, and sustainable technologies streamed in. She could see how to create machines that could help people, heal the sick, and protect entire cities without harming the environment. Tomasz followed, touching the second giant. He received visions of strategies, problem-solving methods, and ways to think creatively and carefully. It was as if the pyramid had taught them not just knowledge, but wisdom, the ability to make the right choices with what they had learned. Together, Myra and Tomasz understood the message fully. The pyramid was not just a place of power. It was a guide for any civilization ready to be responsible, courageous, and wise. They had passed every trial, faced danger, and proven they could be trusted. The giants stepped back, their eyes glowing softly. They were no longer just guardians, they were teachers, and now, Myra and Tomasz were students who had completed the final lesson. Myra turned to Tomasz. "We have a chance to change the future. To show the galaxy that humans can learn, grow, and protect what is important." Tomasz nodded, his face filled with hope. "Then we start here, on Iridian. We will use what we learned to help people and prepare for what comes next." The pyramid seemed to hum with approval. Lights spread across its surface, and the desert shimmered in the evening sun. The giants had awakened fully, but they were calm. They had given humans the knowledge, but they would remain as guardians, guiding and observing to ensure it was used wisely. Myra looked at the horizon, imagining a future where humans worked with the giants to build a better world. Cities powered by the energy of the pyramid, people learning to live in harmony with technology, and civilizations working together instead of against each other. The vision filled her with determination. Tomasz placed a hand on her shoulder. "We have a long journey ahead. Others will come, challenges will appear, but we are ready." Myra smiled. "Yes. We are ready. The pyramid has shown us that courage, wisdom, and cooperation can overcome anything. This is only the beginning." The desert wind carried the hum of the pyramid, a sound that spoke of hope and knowledge. Myra and Tomasz took one last look at the sleeping giants, now fully awake, towering, and majestic. The humans had learned their lessons, but more importantly, they had proven that humanity could rise to meet great challenges. With the first steps into the pyramid, they began a new era. Humanity was no longer just a small species on a distant planet. Guided by the giants and the wisdom of the pyramid, humans could explore, learn, and grow in ways they had never imagined. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the desert, Myra and Tomasz walked forward together. The glow of the pyramid lit their path, a promise that knowledge and courage could lead to a better future. The giants watched silently, their purpose fulfilled, knowing that the legacy of their civilization would continue through those who were ready to learn, protect, and create. The pyramid stood as a symbol of hope, a beacon for all who sought wisdom. And on Iridian, humanity began a new chapter, guided by courage, intelligence, and the lessons of the sleeping giants.